Welcome to another episode of the Grappling with Life podcast. I'm your host, Muhammad Yahyawi, and we're joined today by Abdul Jaleel for the second time round. Welcome, Abdul Jaleel. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man.
I like the way you got your headphones on, bro.
Hey, me?
No, you can have them. You don't have to change it, bro. It's chill. I said I like it.
Yeah. I just feel, these headphones, man.
Did they get you get hot ears?
Yeah. I know, I see people have these. Yeah.
You get hot ears?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. How you been, bro?
I'm good, man. Alhamdulillah, bro. Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
And what you been up to, bro? Bro, you know what? Let's just start this again because don't keep this in. Yeah, keep this in. What's happening, bro? Why's your body language going all like? It's just me and you chatting, bro. Relax.
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Are you relaxed?
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Okay,
man. I'm relaxed.
So,
I'm relaxed.
last time you came,
Yeah.
let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've lost a few kilos, bro. Sorry to use that pun, bro. It wasn't even a pun, bro. But you lost. How much did you lose since you last saw you?
Oh, man, like there's no subtlety.
I went straight in. I don't know subtlety at all.
Bro, like,
how am I supposed to say it, bro?
Stage, man.
Okay.
How am I doing?
Okay, khalas, let's start again. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. Good. You know what?
Let's not pretend that we didn't speak for about 45 minutes before we started.
Yeah. No, but I held back.
You did?
I still held back. Zach was asking me a full question.
You had a whole was it?
He psychoanalyzed me, bro.
Yeah, you got psychoanalyzed on another level, bro.
What do you mean?
I've never seen him talk like this, bro. You know what? That subject that you were talking about before, I want to bring it into the thing. We'll talk about that later, about talking about your feelings and whatnot, yeah? We're going to talk about that because I think that's important.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But, okay, so how you been, man?
Yeah, everything's good, alhamdulillah, bro. I can't really complain. Since the last time I was here,
it was about a year ago, bro.
Yeah, a year ago.
Over a year ago,
yeah. Things are good, man. Just on, I'm always on a journey of growing, I guess. So I think since then, I'm always growing, always trying to raise the level a little bit in all aspects, I guess, of my life, whether that's spiritually, mentally, physically, relationships and stuff. So yeah, I think I'm always on that journey. Always experimenting as well, trying out what works, what doesn't work. So I've been growing, man. I definitely feel I've been growing, and I definitely feel like learning as well, a lot since then. And it's a bit weird because I feel like I'm not going to give away my age, but the age I'm at and just be where I'm at.
Why not you give up your age?
Sorry, say that again?
Why don't you want to give up your age?
Yeah, what's something?
I'm not saying give up your age, but
yeah. No, just like
you're older, man.
Yeah,
you're just coming up to 60, right?
Yeah, I mean,
no, but we're the same age, bro. So it's kind of
yeah. But I feel
I get you though.
Yeah, and I think especially not trying to put it down, but just reality. You see people come close to our age and not too far off, like who like passing away, and just to kind of like. Coming to the end of their life and, qadar Allah. So, and those are the kind of things I think just kind of preoccupy in terms of where I'm at and knowing the reality of life. Do you know what I mean? And I guess holding accountable and how you lived your life. Do you know what I mean?
I think what I said to the guys, like when you get to... Bro, we haven't even hit 40 yet, bro. So let's kind of...
alhamdulillah.
I'm not that old, bro.
No.
I had the same... I was chatting to these guys the other day. I was saying, when you get to like late 30s, you start thinking, have I reached the peak? Is it downhill from here?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, when you're in your 20s, you're always looking up, innit? You're looking my new job, I don't know, whatever it is. The next, I need to go uni, college, uni, get a job. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And then you're kind of like late 30s, you kind of accomplished what you like. Sometimes we feel that. That's how the whole midlife crisis kind of rubbish comes up here. But people start to think, oh my God, is everything to come less than what was before?
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like...
I don't know, but that's me anyway.
But I think before... And I think you're right. I think maybe it's just me because I think before then, I think when you leave school, it does become like you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
And you're trying to survive wherever the terrain is, wherever you're going through life.
Yeah.
And you still go through that when you get married and when you have kids. And I don't know if it's me or just like people at that age, but once you get to that 40 number, I guess, and it's not a number, it's that when you start to analyze life, especially when you're seeing people not too far from that above that, like I said, and obviously from our kind of paradigm, when we look at life, you know, death is a reality.
But it can catch you at any time.
Yeah, it catch you at any time. So I think,
caught,
yeah, and
30,
I think
20, 15, 5, newborn, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So for me, it's like looking at that and then looking at where I am in terms of, like, you know, in terms of, like I said, spiritually, mentally, physically as well. It just be where I am. But yeah, I'm still growing, man. I'm still a student of life, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I feel like definitely in a good position, alhamdulillah. So that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at.
So why now, though? Why are you thinking about this now, though? Why not last year? What's happened in
I think last year, I think I was still on my journey. But it's like trying to conceptualize certain things. Yeah, I know I'm using some jargon, but that comes down to, but just to kind of like making sense of it, I guess. Are you with me? Yeah. And obviously you don't buy into something if you don't have like an interaction with it, or if it kind of does it work for you? Is it kind of meaningful for you? And I think right now, because I think what you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So there's certain things where you thought you know, and you live your life what you know, because that's the comfort space and you're comfortable with that. But then you start kind of pushing yourself like, oh, let me try this. And let me try that. And say, oh, you know what? That actually works for me, you know? And that, like, I see benefit in that. I'm going to do that. And once you start doing that, your parameters starts becoming wider and bigger, and you're pushing yourself. And then you realize, hold on, you're doing things that you probably would never have done 2 years ago, a year ago.
It's like, you know, like a computer game. You know, like, you know those maps where, like, you're in the middle of the map, but there's a shadow at the side of the map, and as your character moves, the shadow moves with it, and it unlocks another another bit of the map. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes some people just stay in that one level.
Yeah.
And you're not kind of exploring and pushing. I'll give an example. Like, if someone told me that what I'd be doing right now, like, what I'm doing right now, if I spoke to my 20-year-old self, he'd be like, where'd you find the time to do all that? I mean, Imran asked me the other day, he's like, how do I fit everything in? Like, he's looking at the future and all that stuff, And you get this anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to achieve so many things, but how do I fit everything? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, you're right, bro. Like, I remember when we first met up, we were in, but it must be 10 years ago now, bro.
Yeah, it was definitely over 10 years ago.
So we would have been in our 20s, bro.
Yeah.
Like, maybe late 20s.
Yeah.
A lot of anxiety, bro. You were very restless, bro, at that point. I remember when I met you, you were kind of in a restless stage.
Yeah, because I wasn't like, I think the problem was at the time was I had my Islamic identity.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, trying to grow as a Muslim.
Yeah.
And trying to be engaged religiously.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing in my private life and outside of work. And that was quite separate to my career. But my career had no meaning. It was like the bread and butter at the time. And I struggled with that. And because I didn't see meaning in that, I didn't put much effort in. And I didn't see the value of it. And I didn't know how to navigate it. And I think meeting you at the time definitely ignited something, because we was having conversation, and I think we was talking about just before we started was around this stuff around like vision and mission, and I know it's overly used right now, but it was like giving that purpose, and I think I was missing that purpose. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew religiously what I was doing, but in terms of from a worldly perspective, I didn't have that. And I think what alhamdulillah, what happened, and this came with another process, was actually bringing the two together.
So I remember when the first kind of conversations we had, you were you'd always have a problem for every solution. Does that make sense? Like, for yourself, not like, you were very optimistic for people. Does that make sense? Like, when you're working with young people, and I did the same thing, bro. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy, innit? Like, why not get this? Yeah, but that make sense?
Yeah,
So, for example, oh, why don't you go for a pay rise? We had that conversation. Why don't you ask for a pay? Yeah, but this, that, and you know, like you kind of like put barriers up. But for other people, their potential is limitless, bro. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
But you can't see it in yourself,
No,
bro.
you know what?
Even to this day, bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we all suffer from this, innit?
Yeah. And I think you're totally right. And I think you're right about that, because at that time or moment, when you're the only, I guess, Asian Muslim person in that space, you have low self-esteem, low religious confidence, if that's a word, and you're kind of defeated, and you don't feel entitled. You think, no, I don't deserve it. And they told me to be here in this space and at this level and so forth, and I want to be in that. And just they told me to go and do it, and I'm going to go and do it. And that for me. And when I saw you, right, and because I don't want to talk about Mohammed, but I think last time. But I think at the time was the fact that when I remember being in that meeting and the influence you had.
It was me not wearing socks, innit? Me not wearing shoes, innit?
As the Muslim, as a Muslim. I think you walking. Walking.
That's the first thing he said to me. He goes, "Why are you walking around with no socks on, bro? No shoes on." But carry on. Sorry, I interrupted your thought, bro. Sorry.
No. And I think it's just that influence. But influence being yourself. I think the influence of just being yourself, influence of the fact that the team and the organization and the value you offered, and I was just like, wow, like mashallah, like I was really kind of like questioned me, I guess, and I think that's what made me, and also the influence you had on all the people that you're working with. I think that's what kind of shifted, you know, and I think that's why I always see, like, when it comes to the gym and not the gym, but the grappling, I can see the same dynamic of the passion, the influence, wanting good, you know, that presence. I think that was, for me, was definitely a change, and I think that kind of obviously spiraled into probably the trajectory in terms of where I want to be.
So let's unpack that a little bit, because I think you mentioned certain things which what you were going through, I went through probably a few years before you, bro. Yeah. And I think just to kind of, for the audience, to kind of make them understand what age is really talking about. And if you're not Muslim and you're watching this, we're going to give you a little bit of an insight onto the Muslim experience. Yeah. Growing up in the UK. Now, when you, it's like this, yeah? So you're growing up in the UK, you're a Muslim person, yeah? You have the Muslim mind that you pray at home and all this type of stuff. And then what happens is that identity, it kind of bangs against the values that are being taught outside. Yeah? So, for example, in school and stuff, 90% or 99% of the stuff with British values, it goes together. If you really think about it, being honest, being truthful, helping your fellow man, all this stuff, I think we really, where we don't agree with, it's probably about 10%, bro. Does that make sense? Yeah. So most of your life, as you're going through living it, you probably buck against that maybe 10% of the time. But it's that 10% that gets blown out of proportion. Does that make sense? So as a Muslim, sometimes you're only looking at the 10%. Does that make sense? You're looking at 10% thinking, okay, you know what? Something stupid, yeah? Like, for example, when you're working with female colleagues, simple thing is, I can't shake your hand. I can't be physically touch you, bro. Yeah. Now, trying to explain that to a woman without sounding like we think they're impure and somehow if we touch them, we have to do ghusl or...
Then you're misogynist.
Or you're misogynist. And fast forward 15, 20 years down with COVID and all this stuff that's come after that. Does that make sense, bro? Yeah. And like, especially when you start practicing your deen even more, when you go into an office and environment, that you're constantly being bombarded. Birthdays, Christmas. They want you involved in the Christmas festivities. They want you to come out to the pub with them. They're just trying to reach out to you. Does that make sense? Yeah. And for them, they're doing something good. Yeah. And having to have that conversation with them, like, listen, I really appreciate this, but this is a fundamental value that I can't waver on. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And if the employer doesn't understand this, you become a pariah, bro, a social pariah, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's that uncomfortability of this pulling and pushing, innit?
But that's the obviously there's two ways of looking at it. Is what you're talking about is the conflict bit.
Yeah.
And how do you manage that conflict bit as having a Muslim identity and being in the workspace environment or any public space? Yeah. Being the dominant is, you know, the British values of the British country. But the other thing as well for me really was a powerful shift for me is how do I optimize this opportunity that Allah's placed me in? Yeah. That's going to link to my akhirah. Yeah. That was like the main thing. Because sometimes we could have this faulty reasoning, like, because it doesn't fit with my values, then we have this perfection, this perfection fallacy, like, you know what, I'm not going to engage with it, and which, you know, I sometimes see. But it's like, okay, can we have take a perspective where, hold on, Allah's placed me in this position. It's not the ideal, it's not the best, but can I optimize that? That's going to be for my akhirah. And then once I started to link that purpose with my akhirah, honestly, and I think you helped me to do that a little bit because you gave me the language a little bit, stuff right now, like what's the vision? Meaning, what's the world that what's the world that Allah wants us to create as ambassadors on this earth? And what is going to be my strength or my how do I play that? What part do I play? What's
my position?
Yeah, what's my position to play that? Are you with me? And it's not very fixed as some people might make it as, but it's very broad. Are you with me? And the broadest, it could be very broad, even as being a Muslim in that space, representing or being a voice that's trying to bring about change, whatever the case may be. But also,
like, I feel like that when you came in and you saw the environment, now I had to be proud. I had to reconcile that within myself of who I am. So look, this is who I am. Do you understand? Yeah. Like, and you see my car, I touch everyone, bro. Does that make sense? And I didn't dumb down myself or say, because I'm a Muslim, I have to be like, bro, sometimes I pray salah in front of them, bro. Yeah. And they'll turn down whatever or they wouldn't answer the phone or whatever. Yeah. And that, I didn't do that on purpose, but it's just because I didn't have any other place to pray. Yeah. Do you understand? Or like things like, for example, I would educate them on certain things, but not in a preachy way. Because they were so comfortable with me, bro, that they would ask me the most ridiculous questions. Yeah. And so because they were able to ask those like questions, do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. They were comfortable in me giving the answer, bro.
Do you know what happened to me one time? Yeah, really, like, so not this current role. Previously, I left where I was before, and I went to this part-time role to kind of learn one of the skills. So I went there, and obviously, you know, I had to kind of break the news around shaking hands. But it was cool though, alhamdulillah, it was all right, And I was like...
Did you go in like this?
You know what I mean? And so what happened was...
Was it like a co-worker or was it...
No,
like...
so it was my first day.
Oh, first
and
day.
they got open office.
Oof.
Do you know what I mean? And in
this... the anxiety is through the roof, innit?
You know, but obviously, alhamdulillah, I mastered the art of like...
It still gets techie.
But what's amazing, and this sometimes, again, like, you know, Allah, you know, when you put Allah and the deen, pride, Allah just accommodates. And then what happened was, apparently I went there, and obviously that was the first thing that was like a barrier. But then obviously I had to pray salah. And I used to pray salah in this small kind of office, not office, like a printing room. Right. Yeah, printing room. There is another Muslim, but he was working on another site. So I used to pray in this printing room, and it's a very tiny room, right? And obviously I'm kind of moving my salah around that time, But sometimes when I was praying, people used to print out because they used to come and get it. So they could see me through the window and they're trying to figure out what am I doing. Because I'm blocking their way because it was only a tiny little room. Yeah, subhanallah, a tiny little room. So I used to pray my salah. And then afterwards, I sent an email. I said, like, guys, just to let you know, you probably noticed me praying, But what I'll do is if I hear it or I see it, I'll bring it up to you because it was the next floor. It was up floor, so bring it down. So I said, I'll bring it up to you guys. And, you know, they appreciate it. SubhanAllah, what happened within weeks, the company was taking over another floor. The CEO of the company said, guys, I know we've taken over another floor and I've noticed that AJ prays. Can we make sure we create a room for AJ and anyone else, like a quiet room for them.
Yeah.
Bruv, another Muslim colleague called, like, emailed me and said, AJ, bruv, like, I've been working here like 2 years or whatever. They've never done something like this, you understand? And I was like, alhamdulillah. And there was those kind of things, just breaking the barriers and just being, I think again, before, I think probably would have been like, you know, different. But I think just having that confident, and I don't sit here like, yeah, you know, so for just some things as you know, it's non-negotiable. Does that make sense? Like your salah and other festive maybe seasons, like just like, you know, it's non-negotiable. It's even to partake just makes you feel. I get anxiety. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be my authentic self in that space. To be honest with you, so 100%. So yeah, in terms of. So going back to where I was and so that's where I am, man. So I'm really like, alhamdulillah, bro. I always say alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. You know, I'm in a really good place. And I said something the other day to someone. I said, you gotta, you know, we easily count the bad days, the difficult days, the days that weigh us down. Yeah. But we never give thanks and just be shukr to the days that's going well, man. That's
such a deep point, bro, because I've been thinking about it.
Serious?
Wallahi, because sometimes we're always looking ahead, you know, we're always looking at the next step, and we had a podcast on it. The one we spoke about, the Atomic Habits one. I don't know if you've seen.
Okay, yeah,
I
saw the snippets.
Snippets, yeah. But we talked a bit about like literally being grateful, bro. And that's take a minute, and excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but I said to them, at that point, I was like, if all I got in this life, if everything that I got in this life is what I have now, then alhamdulillah, bro. If I didn't get any more, I didn't get any less, but this is all I get, alhamdulillah. Because the fact that your people are healthy, you've got your health, and who knows what will happen in the future, bro.
It reminds me of like, I was sharing this with someone else the other day. They were talking about going through financial difficulties. And I came across this hadith, just paraphrasing what Prophet Muhammad said, the one who wakes up in the morning with iman and clothes and food, they are the most richest of
100%.
And when you look at it from that perspective, should we not be
100%? Today I sent a message to Dr. Amir. It broke my heart, bro. It's a little kid in Afghanistan, he's like this. He's falling asleep, bro, on the street. So it's like on a corner there. He's falling asleep, and I just looked at my son, bro. He's falling asleep, and then this reporter kind of just woke him up like this. He's like, huh? He's woken up, and he's got balloons that he's selling. Do you understand? So this kid, bro, imagine he's on the street, bro, selling balloons. He's probably about 5 years old. And she's giving him money. She goes, let me buy all your balloons off you, innit? And he just got up and smiling. But I thought, subhanAllah, look, we live in a world, bro, where a kid has nowhere to sleep, bro. Like, how can I look myself in the mirror and call myself a man, bro? Do you see what I'm saying?
Or even complain.
Bro.
Even complain, like, you know, about our food.
Oh, they put too much sugar in my coffee this morning.
Do you
know what I'm saying? Or like, I call this guy. I got work for a coffee this morning. They put way too much honey in it, bro. I was like, that's the extent of our problems, bro.
That's our biggest problem.
Yeah, can you imagine that, bro? I thought,
mean?
What a shame, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know, and even like. So yeah, gratitude is a big thing.
100%,
because it will just level you out, bro.
I have this. I think being gratitude mentally as well just makes you shift between that negative space and just being in that space where you're just being grateful, you know, to what's available to the opportunities you have, whether that's your you know, having iman, being a Muslim, you know, your health. No, sometimes when we go through health problems, it could be like, I know when I become ill, man, like I start thinking, Doesn't make
The,
sense.
the sun hasn't set. It will not set. The moon doesn't. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Everything has to stop.
So you just got to be a 100%, and just appreciate. So we went on a deep one there. Anyway, we didn't give salam to Zach, you know.
Bro, who's stopping you, bro?
Subhanallah.
That was allowed, bro. It's allowed.
Yeah.
Bro, you hugged him, you showed him pictures, bro. You've done all that stuff before the podcast
You know what I said
started.
to you, innit?
That's my
if
sweetheart.
this podcast fails,
Yeah.
Zach could go and do his own thing. Then I'm telling you that, Zach, you know. If you need an investor,
Nah, I'm keeping your speed now, bro. You're going to
Do you know
be the
what I
main
mean?
host.
Zach's
We're
gonna
gonna swap
just
it.
let you know.
AJ, every time you come here, you cause fitna,
just
bro.
let you know, we're ready to jump shit, bro. Like if we don't get, what you say, Zach?
Yeah, we'll sort it out, bro.
I know you're behind over there.
Imran, I
But
think
you're
we
the
should.
star. You're the
let's
star
split,
of the
bro.
show, bro. I watch like to hear Zach's.
Me and Imran gonna split and make our own podcast, bro.
You guys.
By the way, we're taking the cameras with us as well, bro. Exactly.
Listen,
Nah,
we use
nah,
our phones, Zach.
me and AJ got radio voice anyway, bro.
Yeah,
It's
I
fine,
mean,
bro.
yeah, but we got LBC style.
Whatever, bro. LBC
Do you know what I
is
mean?
not.
We're gonna be on everyone's card. Do you know what I mean? Nah, just but yeah, I want to give salam to Zach, man, and Imran as well for the team. You know,
You're
bit
not
late,
gonna reply
but yeah.
walaikum salam, no?
Wa alaikum
Born in a
assalam,
barn, bro.
My sweetheart.
So yeah, what do you want to talk about, Mohammed?
Well, first things first. Your weight loss, bro.
Oh man, this is the second time
I'm not. But how
I'm
much?
gonna lead into it,
No,
man.
why am I
And
gonna lead
and
into it?
even to be honest, okay, yeah.
Do you even want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
Because
it.
I think it's important because it's not the weight loss part of it.
No,
Because weight loss was a byproduct of
100%.
what you were doing, innit?
Yeah,
Does that
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
That's just one facet of what. Because we talked about the Atomic Habits and that book, and I think that anyone who's listening should go out and buy it.
100%,
I should have got an affiliate link, bruv. Screwing, I flopped it, bruv. Because whenever they click the link, we get like 10p or something, bruv.
Okay, cool.
They help us buy all the, the mint for the mint tea, bro. But how did you come across it first
I
of all?
think so. My journey before the book,
Yeah,
because I'm thinking, was I reading this book or another book simultaneously? I was reading another book, yeah, and everyone should go and read this book. Yeah, it's called Men Are From Mars,
yeah,
and Women Are From Venus. Yeah, it's a really, really good book around relationships, marriage. As I mentioned before, I was just trying to just be a bit more awareness about myself and my surroundings.
yeah.
And one of the things that stood out for me in that book was that Martians, which is men, but sometimes can be women as well.
Yeah.
It's not singular. Is that we need caves. Like in our nature, we need caves. We need a space where we could go to, unpack our thinking, yeah, and really, because we like to solve problems. Because we're hunters, like in our natures. When we hunt, we calculate our prey. We know at what angle, or what speed, or what strength. That's in our nature. And part of that, to have that thinking process.
So Martians are as in an archetype, like
She's just using that language.
yeah, it's
of
an archetype
digestible.
of thing, yeah. Of
But she was saying that we need that cave. And then I asked myself this question: where's my cave?
well, explain to us what Venus is. Well.
You gotta go and read the book.
Oh, one of them ones.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah, you gotta go and read the book.
just got to the Martian-
Yeah,
Martian
you got the
bit.
Martian. This is the most important thing. Yeah, this is the most
Okay.
important thing. It's a very
So
amazing book.
what's the conversation around the cave?
So the cave, just having a space with just you and your thoughts and your thinking and looking at whatever.
what, physical space or
It could, yeah, whatever. It could be whatever space. Could be physical space, so forth. And I started to ask this kind of question for me, like, okay, AJ, where's your space? Are you with me? And so
what was your space, bro?
I didn't have one. That's why I always was angry and frustrated.
I can never see you angry, bro.
Yeah, no, but obviously anger is, it's not always red face.
Yeah.
Not always, hot air. People communicate anger in different ways. Yeah. So, and obviously anger is because of frustration that might have built up that you're going through. So I just needed a cave. And I was like, what's my cave? I needed an outlet, just to go and just to kind of let off, if that makes sense. And then at the same time, I was trying to get healthy because I started to go through some health problems where like the doctors was like, listen,
Serious?
yeah, man, I started to go, without going into details, like I
Yeah.
started to go to health problems where, listen, if you continue with your lifestyle the way it is, you're going to give yourself an early grave. No doubt about it.
Ooh.
I was like triple the amount of my blood pressure. Like it was on stroke level type.
What?
Yeah, man. This is exclusive. Yeah, no one knows that. Yeah, it
That's
was
a mad
really,
thing, bro.
it was really, really like bad. And obviously, you've known me. I've always been a big guy. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was there.
Was it because of that? Or was it because of stress? Or like that you like?
No, it was my health. It was
Your
definitely my
health?
health. Yeah, it was
Okay,
definitely my health. You know,
'Cause before the listeners and the viewers, like, are you all right now? Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see. But alhamdulillah, they were. I think they were like, whoa, like they were a bit shocked
Shocked what?
that I've lost so much weight.
Oh, okay, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, because I did some. I'm in touch with a doctor as well, a Muslim brother, and we kind of, I went to him to get some advice around nutrition and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think that was it. So it's like looking for a cave and then to make a massive lifestyle
Mm.
change. But I've tried gym. And I've tried, and I always see others, like you guys doing your grappling and others, and I'm like, I've tried and I failed, and I already had that defeatist kind of mentality.
Barriers again. Yeah.
The barriers. So one of the sheikhs, that I kind of speak to, we talk about human behavior, we talk about cognitive, and mashallah, this sheikh we talk a lot around some of the stuff that I probably, I'm interested in. And he recommended this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I read the book. And that book really was like the game changer. Because what that book did, it gave me the principles. And obviously he spoke a lot around examples around gym.
Practicality.
I thought, okay, let me try it.
I'm going to stop you there before you go into full stream, yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's important.
Okay.
Let's ask these guys what their caves are, bro. Because I want you to break them down.
So I got 2 caves. I've got my gym.
Yeah.
That's one of my caves. So whenever, and I like what you said last time. You said something so powerful that really resonated for me. You said when you're on the mat, you have linear thinking.
Yeah.
That's like me in the gym. When I'm in the gym, I have that linear thinking. When I leave the gym, I've got a solution to what I'm going to do now.
Right.
Are you with me? And that was it. And also I have another thing as well. Like in my room, I have this chair, this grey chair, where it's in my bedroom, and I kind of like go there and I'll sit there, and it's near a window. Not intentionally, just on this. Before you just start romanticizing.
Do me a favour, take a picture.
Yeah?
Take a picture of that chair, bro.
Council flat, yeah. The overcrowded, but yeah, I have. Do you understand? Yeah, and yeah, that would probably be my other space where I kind of get away. I'll probably do some reading. I'll probably just that would be my spot really. At the moment, it's just right now.
That's how you know we're living in London, isn't it?
Yeah,
Man's cave is a chair, blood.
Yeah, no, but you know what? People have.
Yeah.
You know what? Another cave I had was a coffee shop. I remember before.
Yeah.
I love coffee shops, man. Like I had this thing. Like we'll have this thing around in my because obviously I teach and facilitate, and it's about everyone being open and honest. And one of the questions I asked the group, I think someone asked the other day, a really good one, is where is the space you'll be authentic? Where is the place where you're most authentic? And my one was like coffee shop. Because I feel like when I go there, I could just grab a space and just be there and just kind of unpack my thinking and so forth. And it's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. But I think I'm very in tuned in terms of how I'm feeling and like my thinking and so forth. And like, okay, what's my next step? What am I going to do? And I think people do it in different ways. Some people might do it at work. Some people might do it on the way to work. Some people... Do you know what I mean? I think everyone has their own different way. It doesn't have to be that way. But I think for me was that. So going back to the question, what's your cave then?
We'll go with these guys, innit,
Yeah,
first.
Zach.
Nah, what's your one?
No, I'll say more. But I do talking for a living, literally.
I ain't got one, bro.
Come on, Zach, man. Do some work, innit?
Don't
be lazy.
Alright, cool. I've got an armchair.
No, what about the glitter dots things and stuff that you do?
You gotta be respectful about it, bro.
What's it called?
It's called diamond dots.
Diamond
bro.
dots, sorry.
Diamond dot.
It's an art. I'm not gonna repeat that again.
But it's a cave, innit? Like, so
That is a cave, yeah. That is. Yeah.
But he's got bare caves, by the way.
amazing, man. Yeah, you could be-
That's what he does really well.
How do you feel is that when you come out of that? Like
when I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about anything else.
That's it, man.
What else?
And when you come out of that, sorry, Mohammed,
Go on.
You come out of that, how do you feel?
I think you're the only one that can break this guy down, brother.
No.
Wallahi, I'm being serious.
Listen, if I do, I'll invoice this place.
Yeah, no problem. Send me the invoice, bro. Break it down.
These counsellors, I'm not a counsellor, bro.
Experience, bro.
Break him down, bro.
How do I feel when I
you come
finish
out of
it?
that place, like, how was your thinking? Like, do you observe, like...
I feel less stressed than when I started.
That's the cave. That's the cave.
Have you got any other ones?
I've got an armchair where I just play PlayStation on it.
You know what?
I
That
know,
was
I know.
mine, man.
Is it?
That was mine. Yeah. Before that, FIFA was the thing. I used to come home from work and I used to, like, because the work I used to do, I used to go and smash at FIFA for a good 20 minutes. Any more than that.
Especially when I beat my
Oh, here we go.
Mohammed has to go to another cave. Mohammed leaves that one.
You know what I'm going to do, bro?
One second, bro. I smashed him so hard one time, bro.
Really?
He turned it off.
No, one second.
Midway. And then his kids came up to me the next day. He said, "I beg you, let him win this time, because he sent
Stop
us
lying.
Wallahi." He
What
came
did he
up
say?
to me. He said, "Dude, let him win next time because he sent us all to bed."
Bruv, Mohammed.
They had to go to bed anyway, bro. What are you talking
They're
about?
coming
Bro?
like UN delegated people, bro.
They will do.
Negotiate.
Do you know what we'll do? We'll bring the PS5 next weekend
I will.
and we'll record it, bro.
I said no more. I said no more.
Yeah? A special kind of.
So
yeah, go on.
so Zach said obviously, yeah. So what's yours? With
No, go
Mohammed?
Imran, bro.
Oh, Imran, what's your cave, Imran?
Can't get out of here, bro.
What did you say? Sorry.
He said
Just-
the max.
Really?
But this guy's got many things, though. What about the cycling? Cycling.
But it feels good though, innit? Like to get away from everything and just to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that was the first thing to recognize that space and and then everything.
But
built
you have
from
to
that.
like it, though.
Yeah, you have to like it.
cave,
'cause,
you have to like it.
Yeah. I think, but not the actual physical environment, but I think when you come out of there, you do feel like you're clear. Like, yeah, I know.
To be
what I'm
honest, I
doing.
didn't know it was called a cave until you just mentioned it.
There is.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's what the book, like, that's what they mentioned, a cave. And it was really powerful. And I started to, because especially me, like, I think once I got a family, I go to work, especially some of the work, you take on a lot of, like, emotional baggage because you're the kind of people I'm working with and also the work as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that release. And then sometimes if you don't have that release, it comes out in the wrong way. That's when people start to have problems. Are you with me? And you kind of isolate yourself. But if you don't have the space to kind of, let it out on the mat or let it out in the gym or let it out wherever, then you're not really ready for those people. You're not in presence. You're just going there with all that baggage. And that's why a lot of the problems come about. And they mentioned, and to be honest with you, anyway, I think I agree with it, man. I definitely feel, for me, I started to create that space as well. And that was the kind of lifestyle change, I guess, from that. Then, obviously, okay, well, now, how was my kind of journey from that? So that was the first thing I would say when I recognized it. I think, that was probably one of the main things that I needed.
So I'll tell you what my cave is.
Go for it.
It's kind of training, but because let's put it this way, yeah. If I had to go to the gym, if it wasn't a gym that I run, yeah, and I go training, it would be different. Then because when I go there, it's not I'm going there for training. It's almost like you're in an environment where you're responsible for everyone. Does that make sense? So it's not really a cave, but when I'm rolling, the physical act of rolling, do you understand? That for me, when I'm in that kind of state, that's a cave. But when I enter the gym, it's immediately like not all the time, but because bro, you're looking around, oh my god, look, the things. I need to hoover this, or I need to get someone to fix this. I need to do. Does that make sense? So it's not really like you're not going in there kind of like in that kind of environment, yeah. But I'm gonna start. I've realized since you've said it, I've like kind of clicked in my head, bro. I'm gonna make my strength training my cave.
Yeah, man. Whatever's gonna work for you.
So I'm gonna go to the gym in the daytime when no one's there.
Yeah.
And just train because I feel I've lacked in that in the past. I train obviously in the evening with jiu-jitsu and stuff. That's the technical stuff. But the strength training, I think that's something which is just me on my own. And you kind of go somewhere, bro, and in that way you're building your body, innit?
Yeah. I'll definitely. So obviously that was the kind of thing for me, and then everything else came through.
So it was coffee shop, that chair, and then.
Oh, so these are just spaces.
Yeah, but did you physically kind of think, oh, I need to create some caves, or was it just
no?
came in naturally?
I just looked at spaces where I'm it's gonna sound all like kind of hippie type, but I looked at space where man, I like it. Like I feel good. Does that make sense? Like when I go to a coffee shop, I could be on my own, bro. I don't need to be with guys. I could just go on my own. I'll take a book sometimes, especially like if my family's away and I've got like a couple of weeks and I was, you got work, so I might just go to a coffee shop, catch up on some reading, journaling as well, as you know, stuff like that. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, so that was part of that as well. I think journal was probably my cave as well. I don't go in there as often.
I used to do that a lot. These guys rinsed me out about my journaling. I used to do it a lot when I used to work at Future Visions. Before I met you, for about a space of 2 years, between, I'll say 2011 to about 2013. Yeah. Every morning I'd cycle past this one coffee shop. I'd stop by, grab a coffee, bring out my little notebook, and I'll just doodle in there, draw, write, whatever comes to my head, I'll just put it down, Yeah. And that, like you said, that was the cave.
That was, I think you planted that.
It's a very expensive cave though, bro. That's the problem.
But you planted that seed in me, and that was, I've obviously never got to do it, but now doing it for about maybe just a year now, it's really like value. And one of the things around that journal was really powerful was it has like, obviously my journal is like very Islamic. Yeah. If that makes sense.
What's wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's why I encourage, like, so for example, one of the things it looks at, like, one thing that you maybe be gratitude about. And obviously you're going to look at from your Islamic paradigm, Muslim paradigm in terms of being gratitude, and also your intentions as well. So what is it that you kind of need to work on? So it could be like just, whatever ibadah that you're lacking in that you need to do more as well. So I think, I think once I started to do that, I think, for me was, so man, that's where I'm at. Like I'm really, everything, but it wasn't just one dimension, because it wasn't just like focusing on that element, also the physical health as well, because that was quite important for me, as I mentioned before, when I started to like alarm bells started to happen for going on, and so the Atomic Habits gave, as I mentioned, that kind of gave me the principles in terms of creating good habits. And
what I like about it is that, and this is anything that I try and do, is I want practical, bro. I don't want you just tell me concepts and all this rubbish, bruv. Yeah, like I don't like books like that. That bit too too clever for their own good. Does that make sense? Yeah. And postulating and this and that and blah blah blah. Like and this person said this and that person said that. Okay, all right, but how do I apply it in my own life? Innit?
Yeah. So I think for me, I don't know if you read through all of it. I'm like,
who do you think I am, blood?
I'm
joking. I tell you what happened. I listened to the audiobook first, all the way through. Yeah. Then I was like, no, I need this as a book. And for me to buy a physical book, it needs to be good.
Mashallah.
I'm not gonna. Do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
So I bought the book and then I read it again. But this time I actually made notes.
You're like, same me.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I couldn't put it down, man.
It's really good.
It was so like. So
can you break it down for the?
So I can't remember the fourth principle. So the three main principles that he's
I'll bring it up.
Yeah. So the three main principles is, and I could give you how I applied it as well. In terms of, definitely. I think the first thing he mentioned was before the Atomic Habits, by the way, Mohammed.
Yeah, go on.
Before that, I was already started my
doing kind of.
So one of the things I did because before the Atomic Habits, I started to make lifestyle changes, because that was from the advice that the doctors were saying, like your high blood pressure and you need to kind of work on. They started to give me medication and stuff, and I was like, look, I'm not taking no medication, man. That's a long one, isn't it?
Because you got those medications.
I didn't want to take it. So one of the things I started to do, what really helped me, and I advise like anyone who wants to start making a lifestyle change, is intermittent fasting. Really, really was the game changer. When I started to do research around the 16-hour fast, and this actually came from the NHS.
Still doing it?
Yeah, I still do it, man. I still do intermittent fasting. I think that was one of the major thing that I really recommend. Why? Because when you stop eating, I don't know the full science behind it. And by the way, when I talk, I wanted to say this actually, like I don't talk as an expert in nutrition or healthy lifestyle, whatever. I'm only talking from my own experience and what worked for me, if that makes sense. I don't think I've got to where I want to get to, but even then I don't know where I want to get to, because I didn't set a goal. And I think one of the things that Atomic Habits mentioned, James Clear mentions, is about creating a new identity. And what is the identity? Like, who do you want to become? And I say this a lot. Like, when I explain to people about programs, or before you start the program, you have to ask yourself this question: who do you want to become? Are you with me? Just like as a Muslim, before you start establishing the salah and all the other acts of ibadah, who do you want to become? The shahada. And the shahada is your identity. And once you have the identity, then all the process and the actions is going to follow through. If you don't have the identity, if you don't question the identity, who you want to be, you know, who do you want to become, then all of those kind of habits, they're kind of operating on a fragile values.
It's like it's ritualistic.
And it's still value. So for me, I had to ask those fundamental questions that how do I want my kids to perceive me? Are they going to see my dad who, you know, was too tired to work out and was make excuses and never wanted to play football because whatever, and he couldn't go out, and like, did I want it to be, or do I want to, like, my dad was, we went, you know, swimming and we went climbing and we did grappling or whatever. Like, what is the person you want to become? If they see you as Muhammad, the energetic person, and it's up and go, like, that was the kind of identity. So the basically for me, the identity was like, I want to become more healthy. That was my, I don't want to say goal, but that was the identity that I want to create myself. Like, Abdul Jaleel, like, he's a healthy person. And so every time that I wanted to do the actions, just as a Muslim, like, every time you pray, you're reaffirming that identity. Every time you fast, you're reaffirming that identity. So for me, that I want to do acts.
So just to kind of make people understand. So what Abdul Jaleel is saying is, from the book, he's saying that don't create goals. Because goals is like, for example, let's take weight loss, for example, because that's an easy one. So I want to lose 10 kilos. So you've lost 10 kilos. You're happy now? So I've got my beard dandruff on my thing.
Okay.
So yeah. This is all staying in, bro.
I thought that was the.
But these guys always take them.
I thought that was the pattern on the jumper.
Nah, bro.
The Aztec.
But these guys always take the mick out of me behind the scenes.
I thought it was the season. You know the likes.
But if we don't tell you, no one's gonna tell you.
Yeah. All right. Fine. So so once you get to 10, once you've lost 10 kilos. It's like, so a lot of people like bounce back again because you've got to that goal, and it's like, what now? You set another goal. And then what now? Okay, you set another goal. But what you're talking about is literally saying, I'm gonna make healthy choices every time I eat. That's the kind of person I am.
And every time you make those choices,
you're reaffirming
that's
that
who you
identity.
Are.
Exactly, bro. Yeah.
Like, earlier when you asked me for a quiz, I was like, I'm okay. You
had some later on. Fine. But it's okay because
all of them, man.
No. But also it's okay.
But
because 99% of the time.
Because that's another thing as well. Because he was saying that, you know, it's like, and he mentioned the analogy around votes. The more votes you cast on a particular box, that's who you become. Even if you have bad votes on some boxes, it doesn't determine, because the over majority of it is just you. And I think that was basically the starting point, is that I wanted to become a more healthy person. And so, okay, in order to do that, then he starts looking at the principles. And so one of the first principles he talks about is making it easy. You know, removing the barriers. And so
what's your biggest barrier, bro?
Bruv, going to the gym, first time, bruv, I felt like a tourist. So I went gym, and then, but alhamdulillah, with me, one of the things that
How close is it to your house?
That's another thing.
Okay, right.
So all of these factors.
Right.
So he obviously says, make it easy. Yeah. And so make it easy, meaning facilitate what's going to be easy for you, whether that's time, whether the activity and so forth. And what's going to be a barrier for you, remove that barrier. Because he also talks about getting rid of bad habits. And also when he talks about the identity, I was looking at sustainability. When people start a new hobby or a habit, or don't create a habit, I always ask this question, can you do that this time?
Every day.
Next month.
Right.
This time, 6 months. This time, a year. I always look at that. Can I do it now to a year? And alhamdulillah, I feel I've gone over that plateau, because he talks about the plateau where you start creating a habit by using his principles. So I think, so when he said make it easy, one of the things about making it easy was the fact that, you know, I joined the gym 9th of September because I still got the registration. Yeah. I started to intermittent fasting. I was having 2 meals a day and I was having small portions. I had a low carb meal as well with that. So the first thing I was doing was the easy, which is the diet. I thought, let me start on a diet, because I think I was doing that for a month before I went to the gym, because I think I was riding to work and then I started to lose, and I think I was probably losing like water weight at the time. And then the weather changed and I was like, okay, I'm onto something. I don't want to change. Let me go gym.
So you started off your kind of exercising just by cycling?
Yeah, I was cycling to work. It was a 20-minute ride.
Do you still cycle?
Not at the moment because it's too cold. I can't stand the cold. So, I changed. Obviously, I stopped cycling, and then I started to go gym. But when I went to the gym, I found everything intimidating, and I found the exercises, they were different. So I used that same formula, make it easy. So I did the activities that I enjoyed. So I used to enjoy the hits. I enjoyed this particular treadmill or this particular exercise, and I was doing that. Yeah. And also one of the things I did as well, and before that as well, and one of the things I always do is just researching about it. So I don't like to throw myself in the deep end. I think that's why I looked at Atomic Habits, because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to create habits, I need to figure out, okay, what is the way to create good habits? Yeah. And because at the time I was looking for my cave, the gym was like the new cave that I created. And from that, I started to create this whole lifestyle. So then I used to go to the gym. And then again, I was using the things that were easy for me at the time. And another principle he mentioned, so the first principle was obviously make it easy.
So was it close to your house, the gym?
Yeah, so yeah, it was close to my house because when I first registered to the gym, I had access to all the gyms. But what happened was, when I used to go gym after work, I used to hate it.
You were tired.
I was tired.
Yeah.
So then I changed it by going after Fajr.
Okay.
Because,
was that harder?
No, because one of the things was that I valued my family time.
Right.
And if I had to go gym after work, number one, I was tired. And number two is cutting into my family time because my kids are kind of waiting for me to come home. So I thought, okay, well, something has to give, which is the morning, because they're asleep. And I thought, I could go. And to be honest with you, that was amazing. Even now, like, I prefer the morning than any other time. Even now, maybe switch it up because I'm reading about dopamine release and stuff like that. And one of the things they say is, just like intermittent fasting, they say have intermittent dopamine. So just instead of having it at the same time, which is I love going in the morning. It's just a fresh start to the day. I try to switch it, maybe go on another day just to keep it fresh.
I was in the evening, you mean?
Yeah, so I'll probably go like Sunday evening, just that time. So
how often do you train?
So in the beginning, I was doing like 3 to 4 days a week, and I was doing a lot of obviously like HIIT training, because again,
like what kind of HIIT training? Like,
because the universal, obviously, what James Clear was talking about is keeping it within the enjoyment threshold.
Yeah.
And I didn't like being in the gym for a long time.
Yeah. 30 minutes max, bro.
Yeah. So for me, it was like, especially time wise, especially I have to come home and have a shower.
So hour door to door.
Yeah, it was just, and my gym. So I moved my gym. So as I was saying before, like I had the gym, I had the membership for all gyms, but I realized, hold on, the one near my work was not worth it. I'd rather go to the one near my house, which is only a 10-minute walk. And after Fajr, that's easy. So I could go there, do my workout, come home in the morning. And when I was going there, I was doing a lot around hits, because I think I was doing a lot of research at the time that people at that, I was 125 kg? I don't know if that's big. Big Zach was making some noises there, Lord. He's like, what? I don't know, man.
So
that was normal in my life.
But I want to know, you paid every single gym?
No.
It's like a membership, so you get access to all the gyms.
Oh, like the gym group.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And then I realized
what
that.
What did you think, bro?
I thought he paid for Virgin, he paid for gym group,
no.
Pure Gym, all that. And
so I have access. Basically, I had access to all the other gyms.
And kids are only eating baby bells at home, bro.
But I wanted to make it easy. So basically, I chose the gym that was more closer to my house, because after Fajr, I could just walk to it 10 minutes. It was a nice walk. And one of the things he was talking about, again, because I'm trying to put in the principles organically into the story, was one of the things he was talking about. Obviously, he said, make it easy, make it rewarding, and make it enjoying. And one of the things about it, make it rewarding, meaning find that moment that you enjoy. because that's what's going to entice you. And one of the things I started getting to the point where, is it the gym that I enjoy? Is it that morning walk to the gym?
Right.
Are you with me? Yeah. Where it's quiet and it's, you know, especially winter time, it's calm. Are you with me? Yeah. And to go, and it's like some people like with Fudged as well. Are you with me? They always talk about that peace and so forth. Something that is kind of attractive too. And so for me, I started to look at the reward, I guess. And obviously reward is the dopamine. You know, we probably we'll get the dopamine once we work out. And also enjoying. Like, I just did things that I really enjoy. So I was doing, when I went to the gym, obviously, as I was saying, like, I was a big guy. And I started to do HIIT training in the beginning. So at the beginning, I was doing a lot of HIIT training because I was in and out there 40 minutes. You know, I was doing that for a little bit.
So like short 30 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah, switching. Yeah. They were hard. You don't.
What kind of HIIT training? Like, so treadmill?
Yeah, no. So on the treadmill, I'll do like 30 minutes burst of.
30 minutes?
No, it's not 30. 30 seconds, sorry, yeah. Whoa. 30 minutes, yeah. So it'll be like 30 seconds sprint. Then I'll just walk for about maybe like a minute. Then 30 seconds. I'll do that maybe 10 rounds. And I'll do all the other kind of body weight kind of HIIT stuff as well. Then I was doing like battle ropes. That's just all the kind of different I was changing it around. I did that for a little bit. Maybe for about a good 6 months because I wanted to like cut down. And obviously I'm still learning, like I'm still kind of researching and learning. And obviously, like I said to you before, I'm not like expert. I'm still trying to understand and researching and so forth. And then, yes, I did that for a bit. And I think the last time I was in a podcast, I was at that stage where I was just cutting down, if that makes sense. And then I got a friend of mine who's a PT. So I speak to him a lot. Yeah. Shout out to brother Nana. He's got a studio called The Plug. Yeah, check him out. Yeah, The Plug.
In
Lewisham.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, Lewisham. Yeah. I'll tag him anyway. Yeah.
Sorry, bro. I thought it was another one. Sorry.
Yeah. And you know, we used to talk a lot on the phone, and he was, you know, I could call him at any time. Just we used to talk a lot as well. And I think that's another thing as well. James Clare was talking about, was just creating that tribe, support network. Like, I'm sure you guys have that at the Grappling, where everyone's kind of supporting one another. You're talking about it. You're living and breathing that sport, are you with me? And that's what keeps that longevity. So I think having him just to talk about, and individuals as well, talking about training and stuff like that. So for me, I made it easy. I made it rewarding. I found the reward in it. Like, what's the thing that I really find rewarding? And I stayed within the enjoyment threshold. If I found anything, any exercise or any time that felt burdensome,
you bop off.
Because more likely you're going to engage in it. You're because that's the last moment you left as, and that's always going to give you the reminder, like, oh, that's really, I struggle with that. And so certain activities I just don't enjoy, and I don't do it. And I'm not going to do it because everyone else is doing it. I'll just do it because I enjoy them. So then I started to move from HIIT, and then recently, I think last like maybe few months, I started to do more resistance training a little bit more, and I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I think it's enjoy it. But I think even though I'm saying it, this is my cave, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Even though I'm talking about the gym, but is that the highlight? I think that's just a product of me going there, because I leave there and I'm like, I'm ready for my day. I'm not ready for a day into the like, okay, I've got this problem, but I know how am I going to address it. Yeah. I've got this I need to sort out. And it just feels like, so for me, it was more of that identity, I guess, and that lifestyle, rather than just being like, okay, like someone always asked me, like they always ask me, even today, they'll ask me like how much weight you've lost. I said, look, I never went on a weighing mission, like a weighing scale. Like that was never my intention. My intention was that I want to be.
You haven't weighed yourself?
No, I've weighed myself in the beginning, but that was like afterwards, and I probably weigh myself like every 3 months. I weigh myself because in my mind, my goal, even now, like, I didn't have a goal. Yeah, for me, it was this. I feel more healthy. I feel more stronger. And someone said it nicely the other day, I read, it was really nicely, was that you want to be the kind of person that you could go into a room, you could outdo anyone and outrun anyone. Are you me? Like, if things went down, you can handle yourself. Yeah. Do you understand? Obviously, I'm not saying that's the threshold. He's talking about obviously from a masculinity perspective.
Well, that should be, though. Yeah,
that should be. But but for me, it's like I feel more healthy. I feel more stronger. I feel more kind of balanced. But it's not just the health aspect. Also, going back to the beginning of the podcast, or early conversation, just growing. Like all of that is part of the sharpening the saw.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's all part of that. I think the work we do and the toll of life, you need that physical release, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
And that was it for me. That was my kind of journey, man.
You know, quick question, bro. You know the
go on,
book?
sir. Yeah.
Is it hard to read?
No, man, it's a very simple. I think the way he wrote
it's harder than Biff and Chip, bro.
Yeah.
100%.
But you know what? But the thing is, but you know what it is though, Zach? Yeah, and someone asked me the same question as well, because I talk a lot around this book, because I think he played it.
Did you bring it with you?
No, I didn't bring it with me. Yeah, but one thing as well, I think again, use that principle. Like some people find it hard to read. Yeah,
Listen to it, bro.
Then I'll say, yeah, listen. I'll say either listen to it, or if you find listen to it, read it until you get to that point where you think, you know what, I'm losing focus, and I say, put it down. Are you with me? Yeah. But then orchestrate the environment. Are you with me? So don't read the book on your bed because you know you're gonna fall asleep. Yeah, or don't read it when that because he also talks about cue system. Yeah, because one of the things was like I tried to work out at home, but he talks about create the environment, and so for me. Another reason why I stuck to one gym and not two gyms, because the environment, you know, I'm sure when you guys come to the office, you're in the office mode. But when you're at work, you struggle to, because the cues that he talks about signals that gives to your brain. So for me, I chose that one gym. So when I go to a gym, I know my stretching areas over there, my leg workouts over there, and that kind of, that's like kind of the stacking what he mentioned as well. So in terms of going back to your reading, I know a lot of brothers, like I talk around, like they struggle with read. I say, look, number one, find the best time that you could read. Read to the point that you enjoy it, yeah? Before that as well, find a space that you know that you're not going to be distracted, yeah? And just read to the point, even if it's a page. Are you with me? Yeah. And you could apply that, honestly, you could apply that with when it comes to like Islamic habits as well.
I'll tell you
like
one thing.
Quran, yeah, go on.
Yeah, Quran, I was going to talk to you about that because I'm ashamed to say my Quran reading is shocking, bro. Like when you read it, bro, 3 months, I haven't opened up one page of the Quran, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to kind of like really admit that, bro. Yeah. So after reading the book, I was like, you know what? That's one habit that I want to have in my life every day, to read the book of Allah, bro. Does that make sense? At least. So I downloaded the Quranly. You know Quranly?
No, I haven't.
So this app, yeah?
Yeah.
And it tracks how many ayahs you read. So you put a goal down, and then, but it has to be every day.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. So what I did was, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, after Fajr, I'll read 5 ayahs. But whatever happens, I have to read 5 ayahs a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bruv, I'm on Surah Ma'idah, bruv.
MashaAllah.
So when you think about it, bro, it's just 5 ayahs a day.
Yeah.
I got to Surah 1 second. Is it Surah Ma'idah? I can show you, bro. So this week I missed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I didn't read Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, but I read today and yesterday and Monday. But again, I missed some days because sometimes I actually forget, bro. Yeah.
But that's amazing because one of the things he talks about is accountability and having things like that to give you accountable. Does that make
I'm
sense?
on the Surah Al-Ma'idah, bro.
Yeah.
And, bro, I've never read from Surah Al-Baqarah up to Surah Al-Ma'idah, bro.
MashaAllah.
I'd always read and I'll skip, I'll go back to... Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, let me see how much I can get to by Ramadan.
Yeah.
So this was last Ramadan. So I'm not gonna say I read every single day, but it's again, like you said, accountability, bro.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, oh, you know what? I ain't read, and it notifies you. It says, right, you haven't
And
read.
to be honest, I personally feel, I'm not going into it because obviously that's not my speciality, but I do feel like in the habits, there's a lot of Islamic paradigm you could bring in. And I spoke to like
the small deed that you do every day.
The sheikh who you know, like recommended it to me. I spoke to him, like I used to say to the sheikh, like this is so powerful, especially around he mentions because you know Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he mentions about how sins, how we kind of fall into sins is basically was what the eye glances, right? And it enters into our thinking, and then it enters into our heart, and then we end up pursuing. We end up pursuing. James Clear uses that same formula, right? Because he says make it difficult, so you either not looking, right?
Lower your gaze.
Lower your gaze. You're thinking about changing your environment, right? and then all those other things. And he talks about how to make it difficult. There is this, I'm not saying there's a clear parallel, but there is this a lot of parallel. But again, you can use that formula to create good Islamic habits for yourself 100%. Obviously, I'm talking from a worldly perspective, but he had definitely had put me in a like I said, in a good position, like in terms of just as a person, if that makes sense, spiritually 100%.
And the beautiful thing about habits is this, if you make something a habit, it's not work anymore. The beginning is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
So, because what he talks about, this is so powerful, man. Because what he talks about is, you have habits anyway. Think about it, yeah?
Yeah.
We have habits that we do without even thinking it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So, for example,
We brush our teeth.
yeah, brush your teeth. That's a habit.
Yeah.
Now, you do that every day without even thinking. Yeah? Why?
It says you're not motivated by brushing your teeth, but rather by the feeling of a clean mouth.
This is it, bro.
Yeah.
You don't
That's
want to
the
turn on
reward.
television. You want to be entertained.
Yeah, that's
it.
the reward.
So
That's
think
the
about
reward.
it. So think about it. So imagine you want to wake up for Fajr. Like, it's going to be difficult in the beginning, but understanding why you're doing it, the purpose of it, and also habit stacking. Let's talk a bit about that, because that's really that was a game changer for me, bro.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I was able to read 5 areas of Quran a day is because I stacked it with praying Fajr.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I pray Fajr, I finish.
Well, you pray. Well, you do wudu, because that's ibadah itself.
Yeah, what do you mean?
So you do wudu.
Yeah, you do wudu.
After wudu, you pray sunnah.
Pray sunnah.
After you pray, you do your fajr.
Yeah.
Then you do your adhkar.
That's it.
Then you do your Quran. That's
it.
habit. That's
That's
stacking.
a stacking, yeah.
That's a stacking. Because all of those give you cues. Are you with me?
Okay, so next now I have to do this.
Naturally. Yeah. I mean, it's really...
And another thing is that I find it very, like, to go gym-wise, yeah. I have to go to the gym because I coach anyway, yeah?
Yeah.
But I have this is, so what I do is I get my bag ready. So I put my gi in my bag, my wrestling boots, I put all the stuff. I make sure it's ready. When I don't do that, I'm always stressed out, bro.
Yeah.
Because mentally it's saying, right, you have to go to, and I have to get it ready. I have to leave my house about 5:30, 5:15, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's ready, it should be ready by 4 o'clock.
He mentions the 2-minute rule. Because what you're talking about. Because as soon as you get up in the morning to do wudu, if you get up from your bed to do wudu, you've actually broken that plateau or threshold that you're going to go and do that.
Yeah. You're going to pray for it.
And that's what he used another example. He's like, if you get up in the morning, he gave an example, like, as soon as that lady, I think, I can't remember, like, as soon as she puts her kit on, she's already, in her mind, she's already going to go into the gym.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be a good gym or bad session, you don't know, but you've already given that cue. And and I think I use that same formula, not for gym, but also like with the journaling. Because I was saying to you, like, I don't always journal because I try and stay with the enjoyment threshold. So even though I've been journaling, I don't journal every single week. Only when I feel like I've got something burning in my head and it's not enough to go to the gym, or it's not enough to go and get it out of the system. I need to kind of put it on paper to get my thoughts on paper, just to kind of unpack it. Yeah, I only do it when it's like, but and that's kind of been enjoying it. So even that's been quite good as well. And the reading, so based on that, my reading, my fitness, my journaling, my habits, all of that, and there's still more room to improve.
But also there's a tendency as well, when people hear this, to look at you like your life's perfect.
Yeah.
Like you do it every single day, bro.
Yeah.
And what's important as well is when you sit down and you say, right, I want to make a change. So you get out a piece of paper in your head, you're like, I'm going to make a change. You start making this Hollywood script, bro. Like, that's it. I'm going to do this, and this. It's not realistic, bro.
Yeah, and that, I was thinking that today, like, Mohammed. Like,
you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, but that's why...
That then it deters you, because I can't be perfect.
Yeah, but it's not... for me, it's not about being perfect. For me, I look at it as this, that Allah has given us a physical being, a physical human nature, and there's all these... Potential, all this, and it's using that to optimizing the opportunity. Does that make sense?
What I mean is...
It says here, start with repetition, not perfection.
Yeah, so what I mean by this is, people listening, I'm thinking, you know what, they might say, you know what, I like... Because everyone wants to make a change.
Yeah.
Like it might be small change or a big change. No one sat there saying, you know what, man's perfect, you know, bro. I don't need to do anything. So we've all got little things that we have to kind of, you know, improve on, yeah? And the danger, this is something for me, that biggest problem, ever since I was little, I had too much of a high expectation of myself. In a sense of, I need to be here and I'm here. Like, Mom, who asked me the other day? I think my missus asked me. She said to me, what good things have you done in your life? Something along that. What have you achieved? Yeah, that's what she said to me. She wasn't having a go. She was actually asking me like.
It sounded it. I was sure, but
what have you had a go, blood?
I was saying like, what concepts is this being said? What have you achieved?
No, but more of a sense, because I'm so self-critical, bro.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, it's unbelievable how self-critical. I can't even take praise, bro. When someone says something good about me, I'm like, yo. And I just think 10 things that. So I'm
the same.
Huh?
I'm the same.
Yeah. So she said to me, what have you achieved in your life, man? Like, as a thing. And then I sat down, I was like, bruv, what have I done, bruv? But other people looking at you, like, bruv, you've done this, you've done this, but for me, I don't dwell on those things. Does that make sense? It's a good and a bad thing, because if you rest on your laurels, you'll never propel yourself forward. But it's important to take stock of what you've done, accept it, receive it, and move forward, bro.
Yeah. You know, vocabulary is very powerful. Like, especially someone like myself, growing up in an environment where, you know, education attainment is very low, and vocabulary is really powerful. And for me, one of the things that really kind of helped me to unpack what you're saying for me was this word called perfection fallacy. That this thing around things gonna be perfect, things gonna go well. Are you with me? Other people are doing well. I want some of what they have, and so forth. That just doesn't exist, you know. And so for me, when I started to, like, you know, hearing this word a lot more and started adopting, like, you know what, there is no perfect scenario. And I can be like that as well, because I'm quite, and maybe it's me or just in our, you know, our nature as a man, we're quite methodical in terms of our approach. But yeah, I feel there is that as well. And that's why you kind of have to be, kind of be with your own self and being comfortable with your own space. Does that make sense? Now, you know, with the social media now, it's easy to be kind of looking at others and looking at they're living the perfect life, as you was mentioning earlier and before. But I think just appreciating, alhamdulillah, like what you have and what you're, and being in your lane, not in being in your lane, but I think being in your own comfortable space and being, and we're talking about a lot around being authentic. Does that make sense?
Well, I think if you're doing the things that we just spoke about, so you're deliberate. You know this is important.
Intentional.
Yeah, this is important,
so
bro.
Important,
because
man.
This I was saying to Zach this all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Are you intentional in the way you live your life, bro? Like when you wake up in the morning, like this is getting me riled up, bro. Because I live like that for
open up, because you know,
bro.
Yeah, he's
what
about
did I
to,
do, bro. Not you. It's not even about you, bro. I'm just saying, I remember there was a time where I lived my life unintentionally, bro.
Well, like just doing things day by day.
Day by day, minute by minute, bro.
Not even thinking that you're doing it.
Like, the thing is, so I'm going to work. Okay, I'm just going to work, bro. And then, all right, I've got an email. I'll answer that email. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like we talked about tripping through the whole day until you put your fat body on the bed, bro, and go sleep, bro. You stuffed your face full of kebabs, bro. Do you understand? You've not gone to the gym. You're ignoring your kids. Yeah. So all these things, and sometimes it's years, bro. Do you understand? So, and even sometimes you have periods where, bro, we're humans.
Yeah.
Life gets to you, bro. Like I've been tracking my impulsive behavior on an app. So for about past 3 months, bro. Like every time I get an impulse to do something, like eat this or like, does that make sense? Do something that's not good for me. Like bro, this month, bare red dots, bro. It's like a calendar, and you just press and put the time where we had this thought or whatever, or even just done it. I think, what's happened this month, man?
What did you conclude looking at that?
It's stress, bro. What's that?
A proper therapist, bro.
No, but it's true. But it's stress because you think about it. But when you see it on a graph, bro, when you see, right, Monday, this day, that day, and then when you see it over across 3 months, you're like, there's a pattern, bro. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So then you can start kind of like taking a step back and thinking.
You know what I was thinking?
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
Like, I'll give you an example. Why would you
eat a kebab if you're
No. Why would you play FIFA for a whole hour? You're a grown man. Why were you playing FIFA for a whole hour?
Well, firstly, I didn't play for.
No, you just imagine like you did. Yeah,
Play for 2 hours.
Escape. So the escape comes from something.
Yeah.
It's not just you're escaping what.
Your thoughts.
So what are the thoughts? So you start to kind of pull that, that yarn, bruv, and then it comes down to something deep, bruv. Like, oh, you know what? I don't value myself, bruv.
No,
I don't. Does that make sense, bruv?
Yeah, of course. And I think there is always going to be, and I think some people are not attuned to that. What Zach was saying, yeah, because sometimes some things are quite close to you.
Yeah, bro.
And when they're quite close to you, like you're playing FIFA, you're trying to get out of something. It's not the actual it's not actual winning, are you with me? But there's an underlying thing. But it's hard to, that vocabulary, if you're not attuned, it's hard to actually recognize that. Does that make sense? And there is something there you mentioning, and it's hard to actually, like I said, it's just trying to find out what is it you're trying to get out of it. But I personally think as well, don't be too harsh, man.
Yeah,
like, honestly, don't be too harsh. Go on, Zach.
You know, I think for me, I'm just scared of what I might find in myself.
I know that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to peel that onion just in case I don't like what I see, kind of thing.
But sometimes, go on. You go.
I was gonna say, what would it cost you?
Nothing.
What would you gain?
Everything.
You gain so much, right?
Yeah.
It will cost you one thing: being uncomfortable, bro.
Yeah, at that moment.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you could gain from it.
But
and I think the cost and gains, I always use that language a lot because I think we always value what am I going to get out of it and what it's going to cost me. And I think we look at that way. And sometimes we don't know what we're going to gain, but sometimes what we gain is so more. Like, for example, I might see someone, and I'm afraid to talk to that person. Like, I'm not going to talk to that person. Are you with me? Why? Because I might look, what's it going to cost me? I might look embarrassed or I might sound stupid, right? Just like Mohammed, if I didn't phone call that organization, what would it cost me? Okay, I would never have known, like Mohammed.
Oh, yes.
But from that conversation, me risking and meeting him, look what's opened up over 10 years of friendship.
Yeah.
And 10 years. Do you understand? So sometimes, we're afraid, but sometimes we've got to really push ourselves.
I'll tell you something.
But I think sometimes as well, a lot of it, last point, remember, I think there's a lot of it shame as well. I talk a lot around shame. I think there is this element of like, we don't want to look embarrassed, we don't want to look shame, we don't want to look stupid. There is this thing about how we want to perceive in public and how people to perceive us. But that can be quite taxing and costing us. Even though that's a human nature perspective, there's something that has to be have shame, like from a religious perspective. Some things that you just don't do, yeah. But there's some things that what we think is shameful, but it's actually opportunity, if that makes sense. Are you with me? Yeah. And man, I think sometimes, and also some things are projections. We have this social makeup, or we understand that we're talking like this. Where we're talking, people might project what they understand this stuff for all those years and think, oh, what these guys are talking about. Does that make sense? Because that's a projection. But again, that could be a projection of a deflection of like, that's not me, that's not. Does that make sense?
I'll give you an example.
It sounds a bit philosophical. I'm not trying to sound all like philosophical, but
can I give you an example? I'll give you an example, bro. Like, I'm going to share this.
This
conversation
become like a proper like.
No, it's good. It's good.
We
It's good.
need some tissues. And stuff, man.
Nah, we don't cry, bro. So a few weeks ago, actually 3 months ago, me and Zach had an argument.
Yeah.
No way. It's not nothing deep. Yeah, nothing deep.
We don't have deep arguments, bro.
No. Zach, let me bring up the text messages, bro.
Deep ones.
Yeah.
Don't bring
it's
them up.
not the deep ones. It's not the deep
All
ones.
right, go ahead.
So I said to Zach, Zach, fix up the sound, bro. Sound needs to you need to fix up the audio. No, something like that. Remember we had that conversation, Zach?
Yeah, I remember.
So he starts shouting at me, blood.
No, wait.
Through text message.
He wasn't shouting.
Oh, like he was getting raggo blood.
What, on text message?
No, this is live.
Oh, live, yeah?
Yeah, go on. You say it, and then I'll say mine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
That's fine.
Alright, go on.
Like, so for me, I'm not thinking about his feelings, innit? I'm just thinking we need the best product possible out. Because I'll give you an example. For me, if I ask you to do something, that means I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
That should be a vote of confidence in it. But sometimes when you're in a working relationship, people take that as, they might even have like a deep inside and insecurity about that one thing, innit? Do you see what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example, yeah? Like say you did a report for your manager and your manager goes, do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. He might be saying do it again because I know you can do better, bro. Does that make sense? That's not a bad thing. It means that he trusts you and believes in you, innit? When they say that to me at work, bro, it's like I'm gonna do. You know what harikiri is, bro? Yeah, I'm gonna kill myself, blood. How dare I release something like this into the world, bro? Does that make sense?
But we always making interpretations.
Of course. Exactly. We're making interpretations.
And this is stuff that I teach a lot. I talk a lot.
So I'm gonna get your perspective on this. I'm gonna say what I said to him, and then he's gonna say.
But what factually happened?
Factually,
you and Zach could say factually what happened.
Factually, what happened was.
Factually.
Go on, Zach.
He said those words. No. But right.
No. Just say what happened.
Okay, the way me, yeah.
Okay, can I just say what I said to him?
Go on.
I said, Zach, we can do better on this sound, but I didn't like. Sometimes, bro, you know. Anyway, so I didn't say it in a way like, because he's my brother. I just tell him how it is. Even Imran, bro. Sometimes we have like, because we want to push each other to get the best possible, innit? And they say the same thing, bruv. Stop frigging putting your fingers in the camera and whatnot, bruv. And stuff like that. Or you keep interrupting guests or whatever. And I have to swallow that because obviously part of your ego is like, oh my God, I was frigging into, or I need to. But in order to kind of accept and actually improve, so in order to improve, you have to accept what they're saying and try and listen with a tuned ear a little bit, bruv. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what my problem is.
Yeah, but there's two things though. Because the way I look at situations all the time, especially when I'm dealing with these kind of like something's happened.
He's crossed his legs, bro. Yeah. We're finished, bro. We're finished. We're gonna start talking about our childhood now, bro. We're like actually finished.
You know, like this.
No, it's fine. Cross your legs.
I'm trying to get Zach involved.
Yeah, get Zach. So that's what I said. So AJ, that's what I said to him. I said to him, Zach, the production needs to get better, bro. Yeah, we need to try and look at ways. I know sometimes. I said to him, the higher we get, the better we get, the less there's to improve. Do you understand? And sometimes those 1% is what takes you. So your competition, you're competing at that 1%, bro. Does that make sense? But so then he took it like, I don't know how he took it. I don't know how he took it.
My insecurity is that I can't explain myself the way I'm thinking. Like in my brain, it's mapped out the way I'm gonna say it. But the way I say it is not to the best of the way I think I can say it.
But that's human beings. I mean? That's human.
That's me as well, though.
Yeah, but you know what?
I get that as well.
But you do it flawlessly.
No, it's not flawless.
Allahumma Baarik.
No, I don't.
But I put, you know, that's human beings. Human beings, when something's taking place, right? There's something happening in terms of your internal feelings. Something happened physiology, like in terms of your physical body. There's a thinking going on, and guess what? Now you got to execute that. And guess what? All of them are not synchronized together. So you might be thinking, you might be feeling something, thinking something. Guess what? You end up becoming passive. Yeah, are you me? So that's a human being. That's a human being. That's for me. That's natural. That's why I always say, look, pause and take a step back, so you could gather yourself, then you could articulate yourself. Yeah. And another thing I was saying earlier on around the facts interpretations, I think we get caught up on the interpretation, not factually what happened. Because the interpretations are the things that probably happened in the past, that we've been in a similar situation, and you're thinking, no, I'm not going to let him talk to me like this. So you know what it is, yeah? Yeah.
Growing up in Hackney or growing up in our household, it was always, we're always gunning each other up.
Yeah.
Regardless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just as a joke thing, not like, you're trying to put you down or anything,
Yeah.
So your guard's always up.
Yeah.
So when he says, you got to do this, automatically, I'm like, right, this guy taking...
He thinks I'm dumb.
He thinks I'm dumb kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then if I just stopped and I said, you know what, this guy is... actually saying something correct.
No,
Let me
but-
just listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, but what about
And
if
then-
you asked him, what do you mean by that?
See, they
Does
take
that
the,
make sense? Like, what do you, because
AJ,
what
they
he
take the
meant-
piss out of me about
because
that,
what
so
he
that
said-
specific
because-
phrase.
What?
What do you mean by that? You guys take the piss out of me
Because
for
at
that.
the moment, because to be honest, what he meant, how I understood it, yeah, what he's saying, he goes, look, when I say it, he's saying, look, I want us to raise the level. He's saying,
Yeah.
he's talking about raising the level and just getting a production. That was his intent. But you would not know that, and that's not your fault. It's for you to ask, and that's where a lot of the, because I deal with a lot of conflict in it, like people falling out and arguing and so forth.
But is there
And
anyone
this
Algerian that
obviously-
you dealt with, bro?
Hey, me.
Did you deal with any Algerians?
Algerians and Moroccans, they're not my forte. Nah, I love the brothers. I love the
No,
brothers.
go on.
No, but
Yeah.
you know, that's what it's about. Are you me? And again, because of my own journey, this one is quite interesting. Like, because of my own journey, understanding myself, understanding my interpretation. Because I'm in the same boat. I don't sit here like someone who's kind of made this outside. No, I'm in the same journey. I question my own interpretation and understand my interpretation, because the very same interpretation I'm making because of my lived experience, because of my learnt behaviors, because of what's happened previously, I also have the ability to make another interpretation. That's what comes to Husnul Zan. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
but what you said about behavioral change,
Yeah.
is for me, I have to sort out that behavioral change first.
But do you believe? So this is the thing, because
Because when now thinking about it, I'm like, bruv, you're an idiot, fam. Why did you even?
Yeah, but in retrospect, it's
Do you know what I mean?
2020,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah.
So in my head, I was like, if I peeled those onions prior to that, I would have acted differently.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of growing, innit? Do you understand? You can't
but
you can't
at
take
the
a time
time-
machine and go backwards, bro.
Yeah, but at the time, I was thinking, nah, I'm right, bro.
But look at
guy
this
is
though,
just-
Zach. But after the argument, what have you learned? What have you learned
Because
about
we
each
had that
other?
conversation,
But what
brother.
did you, well, after that though, what have you learned about
Yeah,
each
but
other?
the thing is with Muhammad, having an argument with Muhammad, yeah, is mashallah Allahumma Baarik, yeah?
Yeah.
He can actually stop midway and be like, listen, all right, let's start again.
Yeah,
For me, I would have been like, nah, ban you, I would have just left.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But that's-
don't
but I
know how
wasn't
to
always
handle
like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Zach, I'm
That's
not
fine.
always
That's
like
fine.
that,
But the thing is, you know, people look at conflict and people look at conflict as a negative perspective. I always use conflict analogy as a fire,
Yeah.
where two sticks, you kind of have a spark, yeah. So you got hooked now, got into argument, you sparked it. There's a little fire burning, and you add more wood, and it's burning, and that's like conflict here, till like it's a full blown fire. You could look at it as a perspective as this is a fire, it's gonna burn all the woods down, or you could look at it as, you know what, like just like a conflict.
Get a barbecue going.
Boy, we could get a barbecue going. We could keep ourselves warm. Are you me? We could cook. So conflict, I always see, sometimes you have to go through that.
Yeah.
To make it stronger.
Yeah, to make it stronger. You know, most of the time, like I feel most of my learning has gone through like falling out with people, because I learn about myself. I also learn about them. Also learn about human beings and how they think and how they operate. So there's so much. Again, it's about perspective taking. Like, how do you want to see it? Do you want to see it as doom and gloom, or do you want to see it as, you know what? Cool, I've learned this about myself. Does that make sense? I learned a lot about myself, man, and it was
But when you work
it was
in
hard
teams
to see. It was
as well,
hard to see. It was difficult because, like, everyone's seeing you as this horrible person, which you're not even wanting to be. But again, it's going through that you realize, and that's why for me, that's why I have so much interest in it, because it's not like trying to fix others. No, man, I'm trying to fix myself. Like that was my journey. That was my journey, is trying to sort myself
There's
out.
another thing, yeah, that I didn't know I had that problem. And he would always tell me, bro, you know you got a problem with not saying no.
yeah.
I'm like, bro, what are we talking about, man? I say no all the time.
No, it doesn't, bro.
And
But he
in my
just
head,
said to you, he just said to you, what did you ask him just on the podcast? What did you say? You said, oh, forget it. I can't remember. I wish I remembered, bro, because I just
So you
put
say
you on blast,
you
bro.
say, but you say yes.
He's a
lot,
people
yeah?
pleaser, bro.
No, so
No.
I don't know how to say no. I just say yeah or we'll see. But in my
But
head,
that's
there's
not
no
wrong. But I'm not
intention.
saying there's nothing wrong with that, because I was reading something as well. I'm reading this book called Split the Difference by Chris Voss. He's a FBI negotiator. And he talks about this as well. And he said there's 3 types of yes. He said there's a counterfeit yes, where you just want to just say yes just to get them off your back, but you don't really mean it. Does that make sense? And then there's other yes, which is like you're confirming yes. So some people use yes as an opt-out. I think I do the same thing because I don't want to get into conflict. Like, yeah, that's cool. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But my yes is not because people might say I'm a yes man or people pleaser. It's because I don't want to deal with the stress, man. So I'm just gonna be a yes kind of thing. But again, it might not be working for you. And again, it's about saying no a little bit, and it's something that I have to learn as well.
No, you know why? You know why?
Saying the danger in me saying yes is me saying yes and not completing what I said yes for. For example, can you edit the podcast? Yeah.
But if he's told, like, this is the thing.
And
I'd rather him say no, I can't do it. I'm happy with that. I'm like, okay, cool. When can you do it? Yeah, I can do it at this point. But make sure that it's done by this point, because there are dependencies, isn't it?
Yeah.
But just to kind of, because bro, you know Zach, yeah, he's been my project since he was little. Wallahi, I'm being serious, bro. No, I'm not joking, bro.
You're like he's a Pokemon or something.
No, serious talk, bro. Ever since he was little.
Ash.
Yeah, Ash.
You've got to turn his hat around, bro.
Ash, bro. You know what I mean?
No, but real talk, bro. Like, as an older brother, you have a responsibility, innit? That you don't want your little brother to go through. I say little, he's a grown man, bro. And that's something that I had to kind of learn myself, that I have to take a step back. He's a grown man. I have to deal with him in a specific way, innit? So, but what I mean by saying no, just to go back to that,
Yeah.
When you're working with people, yeah, and for me, everyone that I work with, I want them to be leaders, bro.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I'm not a dictator. I don't want to be someone that's surrounded by people that I feed off their, Muhammad said do this. No. I want you to be a leader in your own right, bro. And to be a leader in your own right, people have to trust what you say, bro.
Yeah.
In the sense of, if you say no to something 10 times, and the one time you say yes, they will trust that yes. Because they know. I'm not saying say no for no reason, bro. If you've got no intention of doing something and you don't want to hurt people's feelings by saying no, then you can't lead people, bro.
And also,
you can't have a leadership.
But it used to affect me professionally as well.
Yeah.
You know, saying yes all the time and then actually saying yes, and then you're just grumpy, bro.
Yeah.
Because
in your head you're like, I should have said no, bro. But now I'm stuck with that yes. And now I'm a different person now, because now I'm a waste man the whole day. Do you know what I mean, bro?
So for me, I said, look, I'm your brother. You can say no to me. I don't care, bro. But I want to have, and even I said the same thing with Imran, bro. Like anyone I work with, bro. Even Dr. Amir, bro, Khalid. I want to work you can't work in an environment that's constantly shifting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So if, like, for in your environment that you work with, you need to be able to trust your colleagues, innit? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's important that you're able to say no.
But at the same time, you know, and this is a little bit kind of soft, kind of like looking at another perspective, I guess. I think one of the things that for me was really changing, like, I can't impose. How I operate and how I work. One of the things I really found difficult was I work in a certain way.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, I find it easy to say no and have my boundaries and work in a certain way. I might work in a certain way, but when you go out into the world or you work with others, you realize they don't work out in that way. And that kind of frustrates us and we kind of get annoyed, and that kind of gives a spiral effect. And one of the things that for me kind of really looking at is that I can't impose, and understanding that, hold on, they're quite different from me. Yeah. Yeah. So going back to, so instead of me, I want good for them, I want best for them, I could articulate my intention, but also I need to look at what are the things that I have control over and what is it I don't have control over. I don't have control over that person, because you gave back, like, you know, in terms of work and relationships or whatever the case, they're probably watching. Yeah. But it's, but I don't have, you know, I always look at what do I have control over. And sometimes in my journal, I might just write that down. Like, okay, I don't have the control for him to say no. I don't have the control for him to get that task done and so forth. What I do have control is the things that I do say, how I am with that person, how I interact with that person. These are things that are with my control. And that thing that you have control over becomes the force to bring about, if that makes sense, that cause of effect, where he starts to look at himself, okay, what I have control over is, okay, what I have control over, I need to get this done. That's what I have control over. And so it is that kind of perspective, because one of the things that really I find conflicts happens as well is imposing. No one likes to be imposed, because everyone wants the autonomy of their own power. Yeah, they want to have control. Are you me? Yeah. They want to have control. That's why most of the people, when they say, when you try to negotiate, for example, when you try to have an agreement, yeah, they're more likely to say no because they feel that they're losing power. So they'll say no, no, I want it my way. Yeah. Does that make sense? Because they don't want to lose that power. So if you working with the human optimized, in terms of their advantage, if it's more kind of talking and agreeing and so forth, they feel more involved. And I think for me, that works a lot more well because I think everyone wants a little bit of power. Does that make sense? A lot of the time people are frustrated because they lost the power and the choice and options and so forth. So for me, I look at it a little bit like that as well. But again, when I always say that, I look at myself, am I imposing? And is that why it's the situation that I might be in? So that's another way of kind of looking. I don't know what your thoughts on that, Mohammed.
I think for me, it's look, wherever I've worked, when I got to a certain level of management, before I started my own business, I like to work with high performing teams, bro. Now the thing is, for me, is how do I create an environment where everyone I'm managing, whoever I'm working with, works to a high standard, bro. That's important because it's work, bro. Do you understand? You're getting paid to do a job, and you need to be you need to have pride in what you do. And when you're working with people, because, bro, the highest form of a human, what would I call it? A human behavior is interdependence, bro. Working together to achieve a greater task that you couldn't do it by yourself. Independence. Independence is is just one level. Yeah. So when I like to push people, bro, but I like to give them the ability to say no to me, bro. I don't like. It's not, for me, I don't like. For me, it's not that. Don't say no to me, bro. Say no to me. Say it hundreds of times, bro. I don't care. But at least I know when you say yes, I can trust that yes, bro. Do you get me? And I learned that from Michelle, bro. Bro, she gave me such a long rope. But when she'd hold me to my yeses. But she gave me, Michelle was my old boss, by the way, yeah. But she gave me a wide berth, though. She gave me, we talk about ownership. She let me own my job, bro. Yeah. She knew what I was good at. She knew what my deficiencies were. She strengthened my deficiencies with other people. So she put a team around. So, for example, what I'm not good at, she'd make sure she'd get someone on the team that's good at what I'm doing. Yeah. And lets me do what I'm really good at, bro. Yeah, yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. So, but when you being obnoxious and starting to impose your will on others, that's not good.
But imposing can be very subtle. Like, for example, if you tell someone, I want you to say no 100 times, he might end up still saying yes. So it's not so like, for example,
no, but there's no problem in saying yes if you're gonna follow through. But that's not my issue. Yeah, my issue is saying yes to everything. Yeah, and then getting things 1 week late, bro. And I think that affects the quality of the product, innit? That's the problem.
Yeah. But my thing is this: how do you go about to achieving that? I really like what you said earlier on, and being that optimizing productivity and performing at the best.
But also allowing people to fail. Yeah, bruv, well, you know how important that is, bruv? Like, if we make mistakes here, we don't dwell on it, bruv. Yeah, yeah. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had issues with the sound or whatever. Yeah. Like, we're not going to say that, wow, why did you do... No, bro. Okay, wicked. How do we get it better next time? How are we going to... We looked at new software for the Zoom. Okay. Does that make sense,
But this is so important. And this is, again, like, all of this stuff, like, really...
Because I care about you and I want you to... Yeah,
but it is about having that solution focus. Does that make sense? Like,
I don't care about why am I going to make it personal, bro?
Yeah, not even that, but okay, we got a problem, but what's the solution?
Yeah, that's it.
Does that make sense? And that's what the cave is about. The cave for me and all of us, and I think going back to all these kind of problems, is that having a solution focus. That okay, we got a problem. Okay, what's the solution? We're gonna move on. There's, when I was at this one organization, really had this on their supervision about how are you as a person when it comes to being solution focused? Does that make sense? When you come to, are you a person who shifts blame? Are you the person deflect? Or are you the person that, okay, we've got a problem, but these are the possible situations, these are possible solutions we could overcome it. And that's what it's come back. Because why? Again, these are the things you have control over. Does that make sense?
And that's the thing. It's good. What you said was good. Was only concentrate what you can affect. Yeah, yeah. On yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then for me, I always try, like when we work with Imran and Zach, they're all got things that they can do way better than me, bruv. Do you understand? Like, what they do in their specific fields, they do better than me, bruv. Do you understand, bro?
Yeah.
And that's important that you surround yourself with people like that. And also, you need to squeeze them for the most productive, because they need to push on.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because then what I want is they're leaders in their own fields, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you understand? That's important.
And for me, it's similar to like the group I work with, young people, like the people I work with. I want them to be at a certain place, if that makes sense, even though they've let them who they want to be.
Yeah.
But one of the things I could do is that, even though that might be my aspiration, but I don't have control over that. Does that make sense? That's an aspiration, but I don't really have control over that. But what I do have control, and again, when it comes to leadership, I guess it comes down to, is modeling that. Does that make sense? Modeling that, you know, and that is so important, because I think we're easy to tell people what to do, and I don't want to use the term dictate, because it's not dictate, but you could kind of instruct them, but it's about showing them, you know, when you become high performing person and you become high productivity, people see that, people become attracted to that. And when they become attracted to that, they want a piece of that. Does that make sense? And that's what it's about. And so again, going back to the locus control, that's what you have control over. Does that make sense? Which is what? Your own actions and your own productivity and your own high performance. And then people are like, yeah, that's right. And that's how I operate. You know, whenever I kind of go through similar situations where, again, I have high performance and how we want to be, you know, performing and so forth, I can be distracted and why others are not performing that way. And that can be hooked on, and that can be kind of no value in it. I kind of look at, okay, cool, I could have that conversation, or I could try and encourage them as well, because you've got to look at how can we get the best out of them. But the first thing is definitely modeling as well. And this applies to parenting, this applies to in every kind of interaction.
Well, I think there's certain things that you should allow.
Yeah.
I think when you're working creatively, you should allow people to make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's how creativity gets fostered, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
I think when it comes to safety and, you know, if you're working in an environment, for example, when you're working with kids, safeguarding is a no-go, bro.
Of course.
So if you start slipping in safeguarding, you can't say, yeah, but you know what?
Yeah. But I'm talking about constant leadership.
I'm just even leadership.
You know, leading the team.
Yeah, of course. But you got to peel people's wigs back sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't be a teddy bear to everyone, bro. Sometimes you got people who got get their wigs pulled back, bro. Like what Elon Musk's done to Twitter, bro.
Boy, don't say that, bro. We might shut this place. Shut this whole podcast.
No, but he's done. It's a good.
Your
no, I'm saying it's
followers will be good, bro.
I'm saying it's a good thing. It's a good thing, bro. It's a good thing, because there were people coming into work for 4 hours a month, bro.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There was this culture in. He's coming and said, right, who's working here, bro?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you understand? I'm not saying be a cutthroat, but
But you know what? You gotta. The thing is, there's no right or wrong. Like, I don't sit here and go, it's either this or either that. You gotta figure out what's gonna work for you. That's it, man. Does it make sense? It's not a off the shelf,
100%
cardboard cutout. Like, it's not. I would never give this work for me and it's gonna work for you. No, you gotta figure out what's gonna work for you. Does that make sense? Me and Mohammed, last time I saw him was on a podcast. I haven't spoken to him. We spoke, but that's what works for us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though we've got longevity of relationship.
Are you sending shots, blood? I'm sending shots, blood. But like I said, bro, like different environment. Yeah, different one. He's gonna write on his journal today, bro. Muhammad said, like,
in his chair outside the window.
But no. Like jokes aside, nothing is binary.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not black and white every scenario, and you should be efficient with time, not people, bro. You can't be efficient with people.
Yeah.
You know, like, you've got to know how, especially when you go to leadership. As a leader, your job is not to, a leader's job is to make sure everyone's gelling, understand it's about human psychology, human behavior, bro. Getting the best out of your people. Some people need to be pushed, and some people need to be like coaxed out. Some people close their arms. I remember we did this test, and like some people came out, I was like, oh, that makes sense, bro. Like when they're under pressure, they cross their arms.
Yeah.
They don't want to perform, but they need to be praised. They need to be. Does that make sense?
But you know what? I was going to mention this point. I feel like the generation, when it comes to leadership, the generation is changing. If that makes sense, I think right now, and because I do a little bit of reading around leadership, and there's people out there who are thinkers. One of the things they're talking about, they're really talking about how people are treated. Yeah. That plays a massive factor in their productivity. Does that make sense? Yeah. Previously, before, you be in a job and it'll be survival. Because you're like, I'm not going to leave the job because this is my bread and butter. And that was the early generation. This was like the post-industrial age. And then you had, you know, options of jobs and so forth. And now it's more like quality of life. They meant to talk a lot around that.
It's going to change, bro.
And it's going to change, yeah. And it is, because I think now it's shifting. So the quality of life...
Next generation, like my little one who's 5, yeah. He's probably going to have like they're saying the first generation is going to have the worst quality of life, worse quality of life than their parents, bro.
Yeah. But the quality of life meaning the fact that, well, if I'm not treated right, I'll just go and get another job.
Yeah, but that can't...
Obviously, they talk about the great resignation now, where people like post-COVID...
Yeah,
and that comes down to like they're leaving their jobs because of, you know, like
everyone's doing crypto, bro.
Yeah. But
Amazon sellers or whatever.
Yeah, but they're questioning whatever the case may be. And I feel like for me, when I look at leadership and so forth, I think there is something there around how people are treated, because in their mind, think, well, cool, if I'm not treated right, I'll just go and get another job that's going to pay me better and it's going to make me... Does that make sense? And I feel like when they... Like Simon Sinek mentions a lot about this stuff, and other kind of entrepreneurs, they're noting this trend as well, and they're trying to think and advise on that level, which I'm kind of looking into. But I feel like there is this thing where people want to be valued. I know it sounds all kind of like... But
sometimes it goes too much the other way.
Yeah.
Because you're running a business, bro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bob, you should treat people with respect.
Yeah.
And you should value people. But then there's always going to be that, like, you're going to get a generation of softies. Oh, he said there's no oat milk in the cafeteria. There's a basic human right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's getting to that, bruv.
Yeah. But I'm like that as well, man. Like, I'm like, for example, when even me, you know, when I'm looking at a new job, I don't look at the pay or what. I'm looking at, you know, am I gonna enjoy it? Am I gonna be treated right? Is the team right? Does that make sense? Is the team right? Is the people I want to work with got the same vision and the same passion? Yeah, if all of those little components are not there, you could pay all the money, but that means every day I'm gonna drag myself to get to that place which I hate.
Yeah, but
like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how.
Reverse time 15 years ago.
Yeah, but
because you're just making ends meet, right?
Yeah, but
now you got a certain level,
yeah,
of job. You can make those things.
But there's options there. Like,
you got options, but
before people still hold on to those jobs because there was not many jobs out there. I think now it's quite difficult to hold. I think retaining people because they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'll just go and get another job. And it's because it's a question I'm asking about retaining. Yeah, retaining people, retaining the team, getting people to buy into your vision, buy into what you want to do in terms of whatever it is you want to do. And I think that to buy in, obviously, part of the buy-in is they want to. There is this thing like, I want to be.
You should make your team valued. And you should make your team members valued. But you shouldn't also be held to ransom by your staff, bro. Yeah, there's a balance in it. Like you should give them all the amenities that they need to do their job. But unfortunately, with a job, someone's gonna have to tell you what to do, bro. It's just how it is, bro. And it's just how you do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember there was one company, but they had the software to monitor how quickly you answer emails. That is not a good way to run a business, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you're not trusting your staff. You kind of, do you know what I'm saying, bro? So there's limits, bro. And this is a Fortune 500 company, bro. I happened to speak to one of the guys there.
I was reading Gary Neville. I was listening to Gary Neville the other day, and it's quite interesting the way he manages and the way he leads. He's quite ruthless, obviously, on the punditry. Yeah. Well, depending who he talks about.
He's kind of a dead manager, though.
Yeah. But you know what? But it's interesting how he's got that hotel in so forth and stuff like that. He gives a lot of insight in terms of how he manages and so forth. And it's really interesting.
What was he saying?
Similar to what I'm saying. similar to what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like when you look at people, like they're kind of shifting that way. They're very much shifting because they know that's how the new generation operating. They're operating that way now. They want to be valued. They don't really care. You know, they want to be treated. They want to come in, and that is the new generation. Whether we like it or not. Yeah, that's how.
Well, I like it, but I just feel,
and he's quite, and he's flexible as well. To be honest, so he was like, you know, the whole working from home. I think he was like, we was doing it before the COVID. We just allowed to give that flexibility because remember, the people you're going to recruit, you should trust them anyway. Yeah. If you don't trust them,
why are you recruiting them?
Why are you recruiting them? Does that make sense? Are you with me? He was on that position. Like, if you don't trust them, then why are you recruiting them? Exactly. You want to bring people that you trust that is going to get the work and so forth. You know, they're still going to have the hierarchy. The hierarchy, you have to respect that in terms of the productivity. He did mention that a lot, and I felt that was quite interesting. And like I said, there is this, like, I'm still kind of learning. Is trying to, hopefully, my next step is trying to set up my own thing, and I'm looking at, okay, well, how does that look like in the current landscape that's changing at the moment with the new generation? But it's, again, I'm not saying it's a solution. I'm just saying that, you know, leadership is an ongoing thing, man.
Yeah, 100%.
It's an ongoing thing, you know.
It can't be one way.
Yeah.
With everyone, innit?
Yeah.
I think we'll end it on that.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, you know. Hey, guys.
Man, got a slipping.
How'd you find it?
I'm going to go home and start having a panic attack, bro. I said too much.
Listen, don't use that one number, please. Call me 1 o'clock and I say, bro, I need you to explain this to me, yeah?
But you got me saying too much things, bro.
No, it's good, bro.
It's okay.
Barakallahu fik. And to everyone at home, I'll see you in the next one.